Welcome to Green Building Matters, the original and most popular podcast focused on the green building movement. Your host is Charlie Cicchetti, one of the most credentialed experts in the green building industry and one of the few to be honored as a LEED Fellow. Each week, Charlie welcomes a green building professional from around the globe to share their war stories, career advice, and unique insight into how sustainability is shaping the built environment. So settle in, grab a fresh cup of coffee, and get ready to find out why green building matters.
Hi, everybody. Thanks for listening to this conversation between me, Charlie Cicchetti, and my good friend Emmanuel Pauwels about regenerative design. We come together to really put out these master classes, that's what we call it, in this green building movement. Sometimes we will teach you how to become a LEED project manager. Those classes are selling out. It's amazing to still see the global growth of LEED and amazing programs like LEED. But we understand part of our job, right, Emmanuel, is to help change thinking and help change even some frameworks that maybe there's not another certification out there to get. And that's why we want to have a conversation today about regenerative design and regenerative thinking. So, Emmanuel, how are you doing today? And I know this is one of your favorite topics.
Absolutely. I'm doing great, Charlie. And whenever you let me talk about regeneration, I'm a happy guy. So let's go ahead.
That gives you energy. So just to set the background, though, you've made a career out of green buildings. I've made a career out of green buildings. We really came together many years ago because we both are entrepreneurs in this space. We have team members that work on amazing projects like LEED certifications and WELL certifications, Fitwell and Living Building Challenge. But we also teach, and that's a part of our overall companies. And so that's kind of the basis, right? You're based in Spain. You do work really all over the world, but especially throughout Europe. And, my team's based more in the U.S., but we also do some international work. So first, for those listening, hey, LEED is going strong. We see LEED version 5 coming soon, and we need to make some adaptations there. But this topic and this class that we've come together at Green Building Education Services is about regenerative design and really regenerative thinking. So that's what we're going to talk about today. So Emmanuel, let's just start with that. Why now? Why is regenerative design the future?
Charlie, because without regeneration, there is no future. It's as simple as that. Now, let me expand a little bit on that. Let's unwrap it. If you go to the word, the root of the word regeneration, it comes from Latin. And it means to give birth and to bring forth again. It's known in biology, ecology, and medicine, but it's less known outside of those fields. Now, the process of regeneration is happening right now in your body. Otherwise, you'll be dead. And so the novelty here is applying it to organizations, project teams, communities, because they're all living organisms. And so it's sourcing processes or understanding of processes from biology mainly, and then applying it to our work. Now, it's not something different from sustainability. I would say it's adding new layers. It's making it richer. And it allows us, with that systemic understanding, to really evolve. And evolution is something that happens everywhere. And so we also should evolve. And so it's just adding new dimension. That's why it's so powerful.
Yes. We've co-taught a lot of classes together. Again, we've 15, 20 plus years in programs like LEED. But here, maybe there's not a specific checklist or rating system or plaque. And instead, I think the course that you've put together, we've already been running students through it over the last couple of years. How would you describe it? I mean, is it a course? Is it a certification? Is it just a wake-up call here? Are you giving tools and tips and tricks? Just give us a peek into this course that you just love to teach so much.
Yeah. Well, basically, the course starts with exploring how life works. And there's different sources of knowledge, but we use the scientific insights from living system science over the last 50 years. And we start developing an understanding of how that can elevate the work that we do in the field of sustainability. And so it works with different frameworks, but it also is useful to enhance existing frameworks. Certification is a whole different process. As you know, LEED is a framework, but it's also a certification process. And so the process of certifying something can have value. It's basically a process where the third party verifies certain requirements. And so some people use it because it allows them to get access to finance, or it can set some working principles for a team. I remember when I renovated my house, we used Living Building Challenge as our guidance. And so those were the principles, and they helped us in deciding what we needed to do and how to do it. And yes, we got certified. And the value of that certification is more in entering in an ecosystem and being noticed about what you've done. And so I would definitely make that distinction. And so we're not going to talk about certification. That's a different process.
Understood. Well, let's talk about where is regenerative design happening, because it's almost like, with the 4-minute mile, right? And until someone could run a mile under 4 minutes, no one thought it was possible. But I think it's important that these projects, small and large, really can show, look, this can be done. It should be done. And here's how I did it. And now you can do it too. You mentioned your home. It's been a highlight for me to visit twice in the Spanish Pyrenees, about 3 hours north of Barcelona, where you're based. And so you literally firsthand went all in on this over the last several years. I know you reference your home, Calguercho, there in the course some. Tell us a little bit about that, but then zoom out. Where are you seeing regenerative design in the built environment? Is it happening anywhere? Who's having a little bit of success with this?
Well, it is happening all over the place, Charlie, not just in this very small town where I know you actually came and visit me.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, last week I was part of a team and participated in a high-level event organized by the Belgian Department of Health as part of the Belgian presidency of the European Council. And during a whole day, regenerative development design was presented as a meta-technology to inform policymaking on a European level for the next years. At the same time, more specific for the built environment, the new European Bauhaus organized a festival, and they celebrated all their projects, and they have a compass, which is a framework which really, in which regeneration is deeply embedded. Last time I looked at their website, they had 78 projects going on using that framework. Regenesis Institute has been working on projects with regeneration, and they're American, for over 20 years. And their program, TRP, is really growing rapidly. We have a client, a developer called Distrito Natural. He's applying the principles in his developments. They're doing a great project called VPO. And so it's popping up all over the place, Charlie. And it's definitely something that can really enhance any project.
Thank you for reminding us that it is happening, and great work there. You've got some roots back to Belgium. I love hearing that, Emmanuel. So the word innovation, oftentimes quickly people think technology. Would you argue that this is innovative? Because the construction industry is not very innovative. I've been in it. I've made a career out of it. You too have done the so. We might have an Uber of a building, a Tesla of a building, LEED Platinum, state of the art, but our processes, right, maybe haven't innovated. So would you actually say that's true here? Innovation, while sometimes you think technology here, it could be a different way to do things. Can you unpack that a little bit for us?
Well, that's a great question. And it's being referred to as a meta technology. And I would say it's a thinking technology. I even want to say, I don't know if you're familiar with the term general purpose technology. Let's say the steam engine was such a technology that gave birth to the whole industrial revolution. AI is definitely a general purpose technology that's going to change work in a way that we cannot yet imagine. Regenerative development design is a thinking technology that has the same power, that can really change the way we're going to work. And in that sense, for me, it's real innovation. And I agree with you. There has been very little innovation in the sector. This is something very innovative that can really change the way we go about designing, developing buildings.
I love that. The thinking technology, and it is widespread, the general purpose. Okay, so who is this course for? Let's give a baseline. You and I both would recommend anyone listening or following our webinars on GBS and Green Living Projects, Green Living Education is start with your lead green associate, right? You've got to get those fundamental green building best practices. So we would always recommend you start with your lead green associate exam. Pass it first. If you want, maybe you can add the healthy building credentials, WELL AP or Pitwell Ambassador, and that's going to make you a well-rounded professional. But then we have our masterclass on how to become a lead project manager. Again, that's selling out left and right. But this class, where does it fit into the mix? Who would you highly recommend get in now so they can really set up the rest of their career and their influence?
I would say, Charlie, anybody working on sustainability, whether they're an architect, an engineer, or a lead professional, needs to evolve their work. And so probably we've been working with LEAD for a while now, but by taking this course, and GBES is all about continuing education, allows you to evolve the nature of your work. And it allows you to develop new capacities, new capabilities to start incorporating this much richer understanding of projects and project teams as living organizations. And it's really anybody working on sustainability that wants to evolve the level of their work.
Well, that's what I wanted to make sure everybody hears. It's not like you have to take this, then you're eligible. It's, hey, if you're going to spend a lot of time in sustainability, obviously we're going to focus some of this into the built environment, but this is the kind of class that I love to attend sometimes because it's not just a new challenge, but it takes you out of your industry for a little while, right? You're going to put a lot of biology behind it. You're going to put a lot of thinking behind it, a lot of why, and then you bring it back into the built environment. So anyone young and old in their careers, and you're going to have influence to start putting this into more of your project work. It may or may not, like we talked about, get a plaque. That's okay. The point is, this is a different way to go about it, and it's so critical right now. So let's talk about, just regenerative design, regenerative thinking. You've even started a nonprofit, a foundation there with some friends in Europe, as I understand it. You literally are shifting your company from just certification work to this. That's a pretty bold move from one business owner to another, Emmanuel. So just give us one more reminder on that why and how this work drives you.
Well, once you get a systemic understanding, we started looking at where we were acting, and that was on a project level, applying LEED certification, and doing LEED is a good thing to do. Don't understand me wrong, but we were having these different aspirations, and we couldn't see the changes that we were aspiring for. And so we thought about it and we looked at it in a systemic way, and we decided that by working on an organizational level, which is more strategic, that would be an intervention point where we can make a bigger difference. Once the project has been set up, once the process has been laid out, and you're being hired, you don't have a lot of room to maneuver. It's all set up. If you intervene, because I would say a project level is more of a tactical level from a developer point of view. Strategy happens somewhere else. And that's where we want to start intervening, because I am equally convinced that the process that we're currently applying is not fit for the task. And so thinking about the process is one of these elements that you can do on that level. because it's a strategic decision. And so that's what has been going on, and that's where we are changing our focus with different tools, different type of work, aiming for the same, but intervening in a different place in the system.
I love that. And I love the intervene earlier, be a part of the strategic thinking earlier, right? You're right. Once the construction documents are done, we've got to fit within that. And I think the developers, you told me some stories you're working with early, they love it, or they really want to learn, right? Like, anyone that's downstream wants to learn. So do these developers that have the funds to do amazing projects, and they may not realize, there's a little bit different way to go about it. And let alone maybe be the first to do it or marketing. Now, just let's change their mindset on it. And I think you're having success with that. And so that's something else this course does, is it gives all of the attendees that confidence, whether you're talking with the big developer early and really just kind of teaching them like we would teach a lead class downstream. And I think that everybody should just hear that. It's going to build up your confidence to have these conversations. And that's why I want you to be a part of this regenerative design and regenerative thinking course. Let's give a little teaser about some other things we're working on, because our team at GBES, man, we love working with you and your team, Emmanuel, and we've worked on so many projects over the years. I think you've identified especially that there is another pain point around integrative process and just being an excellent facilitator. So can you give us a little teaser about that one?
Yeah, we're working on that, and together we'll be bringing that to the market as well. Probably after the summer, we'll get started. I'm working hard on developing this course, which, most of us, know LEAD, know the integrative process credit, which is just an introduction of a whole different process. And that credit mentions an integrated process facilitator. It doesn't explain what that person does, but there's a real opportunity there to, when we were talking earlier about evolving your work, to adding different skills, where I would say a lot of the work that we do as a consultant is very technical. But if we evolve that and we develop the ability to work with many stakeholders, because there are increasing number of stakeholders in projects, and we can even work on a transformative level, taking some of that living systems understanding, we would be able to add a lot more value for clients, because nobody is really designing and facilitating a process that is much more adapted to the challenges that we have in projects. And so I know that in LEAD, it shows up and it's only one point. But there's a whole standard there, and there's a potential for a lot of people that have been doing LEAD for quite some time that want to evolve, that want to take it to the next level. There's a new role out there. And so we want to work on developing the skills and understanding what it takes so that we can support professionals in that evolution to provide more value for their clients.
Love that more value, let alone not just an ad service, just, who is that facilitator? What do they do? And you've defined it. So everybody listening here, hopefully you're getting excited about regenerative design and really regenerative thinking about how we go about really our day-to-day lives, but definitely the built environment. We're going to put a link in the show notes here to our next offerings around regenerative design. Please check it out, but go ahead and connect with me and Emmanuel on LinkedIn. Carry forward the conversation. We'll answer any questions you have. Obviously, if you need any LEAD, exam prep, exam prep, or continuing ed, go to gbs.com. And if you really want to learn how to work on a LEAD project, even what's it cost, how do I run a LEAD charrette, and so much more, check out our LEAD project experience course offerings too. So, Emmanuel, just wanted to have a quick chat with you about this topic, a topic you are literally all in on, one of the world leaders around this topic. And so thanks for partnering with us to deliver this course, Regenerative Design. And so everybody check it out, and we'll see you in class. Thanks so much. Thanks, Emmanuel.
Thank you very much. And great to work with GBES, who's trying to be the best in continuing education.
Thank you for listening to this episode of the Green Building Matters podcast. At gbes.com, our mission is to advance the green building movement through best-in-class education and encouragement. Remember, you can go to gbes.com/podcast for any notes and links that we mentioned in today's episode. And you can actually see the other episodes that have already been recorded with our amazing guests. Please tell your friends about this podcast. Tell your colleagues. And if you really enjoyed it, leave a positive review on iTunes. Thank you so much, and we'll see you on next week's episode.